So this is my video response to JörgenS and his thread about 1986. He asked us to show some of our favourite albums from 1986. So I'm playing this, spinning now, Escape Club. They're not particularly well known. I mean, I think you can tell if you look at the picture of them on the back. They look very much like U2, and I think that was really who they were sort of aiming themselves at. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of them before. They made another album after this, and I think they even had a couple of hit singles in the US, but one of those singles was banned, I think, in the UK because it had a controversial video or something like that, which probably didn't help them very much. Recommend to anybody that is into U2. I'm not a huge U2 fan or anything like that, but I do quite like some of the songs on this album, and I thought it was a fun thing to start with since it's released in '86. So yeah, again, I think of 1986 and I can't help but smile because I think it was a great time to be a teenager. I would have been 16, 17, going on 17 in 1986, and I was in sixth form, which is like, it's the non-compulsory school at the end of the school in the UK. I think in Sweden you call it gymnasium, and so you go and do sort of what they called A-levels in those days. I don't know what they call them now, before you go on to college or something like that. And so as a teenager in that time, it was really, you know, music was really important. If you remember being 16, all of a sudden music had this vital importance, and it spoke to you and about you and stuff like that. So I've pulled out a few records from that time which I'd like to go through. The first one I'm going to show though is this one. Somebody very kind sent me this 6 Sputnik record. Ooh, last summer. Really great record. I hadn't heard it then in the 80s. I knew the singles obviously because they were all over the radio, but I think I probably heard the record once, and when I saw that you were proposing to get rid of this, I thought, brilliant, I've got to try and see if I can swap that for something. Great record, thanks for sending it. An important record for me was this Duran Duran, Notorious. I was a huge Duranie in the 80s, and I remember when this came out, it was a really mature record for them. I think their teenage, or appeal to teenage music fans, had sort of waned a little bit, and they were sort of, I don't know, aiming themselves perhaps at more of a young adult audience, perhaps. Give this a bit of a wipe, it's a bit dusty. I actually had this album on CD in those days. 86, CDs hadn't been around very long, but when this came out, I got it for Christmas, and I really do like this record. I haven't played it for years, but it's a fantastic album, and I can recommend it for anyone that likes Duran Duran. Another album which I'll show is this one, Black Celebration by Depeche Mode. Now, my friend that died, I spoke about him in one of my videos, my 100 subs video contest. He was a very big Depeche Mode fan. I wasn't such a fan in those days, but he was my friend, so I knew their music. And this album came out, and well, it's on mute. See that? They were doing a tour, and I guess at 16, going on 17, it was that age where I felt comfortable enough to get on a train and travel an hour into London and go and see them on my own, you know. I hadn't done that sort of thing before, so it was my first concert, seeing the Black Celebration tour. First concert, I think it was Wembley Arena, Wembley Stadium. I never know which one is which. And it was, it was an amazing experience, of course, for someone from a small town travelling into the big central city and going to see a concert like that. And it was big and it was loud and there was amazing lasers, and to see pop stars in front of you, that was really cool. So I got a lot of happy memories from that. And yeah, since then I've really enjoyed it. I think for me this is my favourite Depeche Mode album. Great record. Another big event that happened in '86 as well was this movie came out, Labyrinth. David Bowie, who I was a fan of already, released this. He was in the movie and he did the soundtrack. Kind of a cool record. There's a few tracks on here that, you know, would have made really good singles. I don't know if they ever released the singles, but that was sort of David Bowie's record out for that particular year. So those are records that I listened to actually in '86, you know. Records I'm going to show afterwards, apart from, I've got a few singles here. Some of the singles that I'd like to show, remember this one, Spirit in the Sky, Doctor and the Medics. That was a huge hit when it came out. It was on the radio all the time. Really good song. A little bit alternative. I didn't really get into them very much, although I did get a couple of their albums afterwards, late towards the 90s. Another track which I really thought was good at the time was this, Knife Edge by The Alarm. Good record. Of course, there's this single. This was on the radio all the time. 66 Sputnik. Love Missile. That was really outrageous at the time. I mean, you've never seen anybody dressed like this before, and you know, it was incredible to see. And then this was an interesting single from that time. This is XTC, a song called Grass. Somebody actually gave this to me. A friend of mine from school. He gave this to me. I think he just decided he didn't want it anymore. He didn't like it. So the actual single Grass, it's quite a nice song. It's enjoyable, but I really like the B-sides better. There's a B-side called Extrovert, and another track called Dear God. Now, Dear God is quite a famous XTC song, quite thought-provoking and things. But the song Extrovert, I used to like to play a trick on sort of other people at the time, because I always thought that song Extrovert, you can go and listen to this on YouTube probably, it sounded to me like a Duran Duran song. I don't know if it does or not, but at the time it did, and I used to like playing it to people, saying, oh, it's the new Duran Duran single, and people would prick their ears up. They're really, wow, that sounds really good. There you go, little story there. An album that was popular at the time, although I wasn't necessarily into this myself at the time, but got into it afterwards, it was this one, Big Country. The Seer. I really sort of like this now, and I've come to appreciate Big Country a lot. I guess, well, shortly after this period. Speaking a bit about them recently to another VC YouTube guy. Can't remember his name, but I'll write his tag here. So they were kind of happening then. I think I lumped these together with people like The Alarm and U2, Simple Minds, and that style of music. It was sort of, I don't know if it's right to call it alternative rock, but it was sort of rock of the day in the 80s, and they had this sort of anthemous style of rock that they played. It Bites. So after school, after I finished in the non-compulsory year after school, I went on to art college, and there, yeah, the year after, I kind of got into a lot of this music that came out as well. This was It Bites. This is probably one of my favourite top 20 albums, easily. I love this record, and I really like the band. I don't know where you'd put it really. They're a progressive rock band, but this was very sort of tilted towards the pop market, and but it's quite complex. Very, very well played. Fantastic musicians there. Talk, of course. I showed this record before. I learned to like this in the years after. Really great record. Public Image Limited. Great record. It's what I like about this. There's some great tracks on here, but I really like the fact that Steve Vai plays guitar on it. You don't really associate Steve Vai with anything that Johnny Rotten might be doing, but yeah, he's present on this album and it sounds really, really good. Another record is The Damned. This is an album called Anything, and it's one of my favourites. It's got a little pop-up inside. I like The Damned. Big fan of The Damned. Another album that I really got into, and an artist that I learned to like in the years after '86 were Japan. Now this is an album by David Sylvian, a solo album released in '86, called Gone to Earth. Yeah, what can I say? Brilliant record. If you like that kind of thing. At the time, you know, I felt really cultured listening to this. Because it's kind of, you know, it's kind of out there, it's kind of arty, avant-garde music, not your normal sort of pop rock stuff. But it blew me away, and I've enjoyed his music. This is a great album, House Martins. London 0 Hull 4. House Martins had a few big singles in the day, and they were a little bit unusual, I guess, because they were, you know, they weren't your usual sort of pop music fare. They didn't have sort of exotic hairstyles or anything like that. They were a little bit more downbeat. There's some great records though. Style Council. So this is live. Yeah, I didn't really have any interest in the Style Council at the time, but I must admit, you know, since those years, I really have come to like them, particularly Paul Weller, of course. But recommend this if you like Style Council. Well, to be honest, let's face it, it would be better if he just stayed with Jam. And the last record I'm going to show is this by New Order. Not really sure which is the front and which is the back. Yeah, I guess that's the front. Again, my friend that died and left me many of his records, including his Depeche Mode collection. He also left me this, and called Brotherhood. Yeah, he used to like that kind of stuff, alternative, keyboard based, I guess. It was quite happening at the time, I suppose. I think what I like about this is it reminds me of him, and it reminds me of being in his bedroom and like hanging out like you know, like young lads did, and listening to his music brings back those memories, as many of these records do, particularly ones that I enjoyed at that period. Okay, Jörgen, I want to congratulate you on your 30 years of collecting. Congratulations. It goes by very quick, doesn't it? Here's to the next 30 years of collecting. Okay, thanks very much for watching my video. Bye.